getting bigger. Welcome to another instalment of the CarpFix session film, and this time around we have something very, very special for you guys. A two-part series following our CarpFix social to Gigantica in France.
CarpFix social, come on!
It was almost a year ago to the date the Immaculate Common was caught at £98. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility that we are all fishing for a £100 common. Now, when you say that out loud, it just blows the mind. But I'm here with 11 other carp anglers to have a good time, chew the cud, eat some nice food, drink some beer, and hopefully catch some nice carp along the way. I hope you enjoy the film. But the majority of them have come from what is not main depth, so up an edge. I came here with a plan. My plan was to fish either Coes, Alcatraz or Alamo, 30 odd wraps out, mounting a bait, fish always in the middle and catch them. That for me has gone straight out the window. At the start of every session at Gigantica, you get walked round by the bailiffs and get a brief insight into each swim and how it's been fishing in recent weeks. Now, I was lucky enough to have been here sort of a little bit earlier than the rest of the customers as such, and I'd managed to get a good lap in, a good walk round and speak to the guys that were finishing their session, and whilst doing so I'd seen loads and loads of fish jumping in the stink swim and in Big Southerly. Now, like, I was trying to absorb all the information that I'd been told by these guys from the previous week, and the sort of overriding theme of what they were saying was very few fish had been caught from open water. And if you imagine Gigantica is mostly open water, you know, it goes down into the deep pretty quickly, not much sort of a marginal shelf, it goes down pretty quickly. I thought that was quite significant. And then they'd had some really warm weather, and they were also saying that there was potential that the fish might have spawned that week again, which is incredibly late for France. You know, we're in the middle of August. But I always think that the best course of action, you know, you can have preconceived ideas, but the best thing that you can do, and the most reliable way to do things, is always fish to what you see. Now, with that in mind, the Big Southerly swim was right up on my list. I've seen loads of fish in it, and it also sort of offers two options. You've got the left-hand edge, which is a shallower area, but you've also got access to a bit of open water, so it offers a bit of best of both. And although not a swim that I fished before, not one that I know well, it was really sort of pulling me to go into it. And on the flip side of that, Coes Point, there weren't loads of fish jumping there, but in recent weeks it's been in form. It was the only swim that had done bites in open water the previous week, and for that reason was again very high on my list. But you know, we're walking around with Ben doing his chat, telling people about the swims and whatnot, and I'm still so uncertain of what I wanted to do. You know, that's the thing, I'm very, very, very unsure, but I decided to go for Big Southerly. I'm super excited to fish Big Southerly. It's a swim that I've never fished before. There's loads of fish over there at the moment, and at this time of year it does have some form for throwing up some of the lake's biggest fish. With that said, I'm going to grab myself a landing net, a mat and a sling and get over there. Here we go. I've been told that the snag is towards the Alamo swim at 14 wraps. Now, obviously, I know that fish go there, but fishing for big fish, I don't want to be too close to that and risk losing one. So I've started probably 20 yards to the right of that at the same distance. Now, I've found a lovely pea shingly gravelly spot towards a pretty prominent tree, and then towards the next prominent tree at the same range, again sort of pea shingly gravel, and between a good drop but not quite as firm, and that's sort of, I don't know, maybe slightly fractionally more muddy between the two. Now there's room out there for 3 rods if it was to be a productive spot. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with 2, one on each of the prominent trees, both on the pea shingle gravel, both at 14 wraps. Now what I'm going to do is cast my marker rod with a marker float on it at 14 wraps between the 2 spots, pop that to the surface as a visual marker to bait to with a throwing stick. I'm just sort of going to pepper the general vicinity around that, but whilst the marker float is up, I'm also going to clip my spom to that so I know exactly how far the lead's swinging back, and that way I can have, I don't know, 4, 5, maybe 8 spoms per rod, so I've got a cluster of feed tight around the hook baits, help them find the hook bait, but also that peppering of probably 15mm boilies in the general vicinity, hopefully getting the fish to get a bit more confident. And yeah, I think that could be a good spot. So with regards to the rigs that I've chosen to start here at Gigantica with, you won't be surprised to see that it's the combi multi-rig. Now, whenever I'm fishing on firm lake bed, whether that be gravel or mud, I tend to go for the combi multi-rig, and especially so when I'm incorporating it with a slow sinking hook bait. But I have made a couple of minor tweaks in recent weeks, not specifically for this session, but having watched a little bit of underwater footage, I've now started to use anti-tangle sleeves at the lead clip end. So I've ditched the ring swivel, and it's now a quick change hybrid lead clip. The boom is crimped directly to that, and it's got a little anti-tangle sleeve pushed over, so it always forces the hook bait away from the lead, and it cannot swing back and get tucked up under the tubing. But combi multi-rig, my go-to when I'm fishing slow sinking hook baits. Right then, we are finally fishing. As is the way, Saturday's massive installation day. Feels like I've been flat out since the moment I opened my eyes, but they're all in. And just to recap on what I've done with the right hand rod, just to the left of the Alcatraz swim is a big dip in the horizon, a big U, and there's a very, very well-known spot out here. It's done loads of fish over the years. It's not like guaranteed banker, but it's done fish consistently over a long period of time. It's bare gravel. I'm not exactly sure if it's slightly raised, maybe it is a tiny bit raised, but if it is, it's not very high. And I've just gone just over the back of it, just where the mud stops and you're getting the first few taps of gravel. And I've gone for a slightly different baiting approach on that, primarily because it's too far to throwing stick. So I've gone out with an equal mix of 10mm Isofish, hemp and pellet, equal 3 parts, a little bit of smart liquid, a little bit of salmon oil, and I've put 20 spoms on it, 20 spoms. I don't want to go mad with the bait out there. Probably could even be some bait from last week. And having already invested 5 kilos of 15mm on this left-hand zone, I'm sort of edging on the side of caution with that right-hand one. But yeah, I'm happy with my swim choice. But that said, because I've never fished it before, and it's not a central peg, I just get the feeling that a good week in here will be five or so fish. But to get to 5, you've got to catch number 1 first, and that's the most important one. So we'll see how we get on. So back in May, I think it was May 2023, we were here making a film at Gigantica when Mike, who looks after the bookings for the lake, said that there's been a cancellation for 2024. Now, were we interested in taking an exclusive week on the main lake? And obviously jumped at the chance. Very, very difficult to get a space on Gigantica, let alone a lake exclusive, and knew instantly that it'd be very easy to sell. So yeah, put it out to the CarpFix members, asked them if they'd like to come and join us at Gigantica for a week. Obviously it sold really quickly, and yeah, the main purpose is we come here, we make a film, hopefully 2 films if we catch enough fish, and all whilst having a good time with our members. So yeah, that's the CarpFix social, and that's the concept. The Saturday arrival is a big installation, a lot of work to be done, But that moment, once the rods are all in position and everyone's set, the anticipation is immense. Well, I am out of breath. I just had a little wander up to see James in the next peg, thinking that I put loads of bait out and that we wait until tomorrow morning, and the left-hand rod is gone. So yeah, a big sprint down there to get the left-hand rod. It's wiped out my middle rod, unfortunately, but it's coming in. I'm just going to get the net. That is one of the proper ones. That is one of the proper ones. Yes! Get in there! Yes! Yes! That is what we came for. That is what we came for. No one fishes there, mate. That's what he said. Yeah, we'll do this end. She's getting bigger. Getting bigger. $53, just over. Put her in the water. It's getting big now. It's getting big now. Well, if Carlsberg did first nights, then this would be it. The patch fully at £53. One that I've always wanted to catch, and a really old carp, and an absolute pleasure, and a great start to our session here at Gigantica. Mega. Well, what a first night here at Gigantica. Couldn't really have asked for much more. I'd always wanted to catch one of those big old scaly ones since they've got as big as they have, and the patch fully was very, very high on my list, so super pleased with that. And there's been quite a few bites around the pond. Chris Irvine over there on Coast Point, he just sent a little picture in the WhatsApp group. He's got 3 fish in retention slings in front of him. The fella Ben over there in Alamo, he's had a couple and lost one, I think. James next door in the Stink has lost one. The guy in Big Girls has had one. So yeah, it's been, I'm going to say, probably around 10 bites already. And considering that last week there was only, I think it was like 25 to 30 fish out, 10 bites on the first night is really, really good going. Now, I've not had anything since that first run in the evening, and it's got me wondering why that could be, because there's still quite a few fish about. And I'm thinking, obviously I put 5 key 15 millers out there, and they're sort of very loosely sort of spread around the zone, and I put 7 or so spoms directly on top of each rod. And I'm wondering, you know, just contemplating whether the fish came in, ate all of the hemp pellet and 10 mils, and that was the catalyst that really brought the fish onto the rig. So I've just topped that up this morning. I put 7 spoms on the left-hand rod of the 2 that's on that area, and I put another 4 on the right-hand rod of the 2 just to freshen that up. And a lot of the bites last week came in the daytime, so yeah, I don't want to be sitting here all day wondering if I've got no bait out there. So they're done, nicely freshened up, good bit of daytime fishing weather, and I'm hopeful. But yeah, I'm gonna fish the day out. We're gonna go for dinner at 5 o'clock, and I'm gonna try to sit on my hands and not do anything, because I think a lot of the time here people reeling go and socialise with their mate when they could be catching fish. Well, that's the theory anyway, we'll just have to wait and see. August is one of my favourite months to go carp fishing. Spawning is well and truly out the way, and later in the month, the nights start to get cooler, the fish are really on the feed, with spawning well and truly out the way. And at Gigantica, that is certainly the case. It can be prime time.